Welcome to Shaped by Faith. I'm your host, Teresa Rowe, and I'm joined today by one of our trusted voices in holistic faith-centered health, Dr. Vaughn. He's the founder of Spirit of Health KC, where people are taught how to restore health by aligning the body with God's original design. So today we're going to talk about three things that he loves to talk about. I'm so excited about these topics as well. It's about the sunlight, about energy levels, and about coffee. I love coffee. So, Dr.
Most people
Vaughn,
do.
yes, welcome back to Shape by Faith.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we're going to start with the sunlight. Okay. We're in the time of the year where people love to be outside, but I've always heard, oh, avoid the sunlight. Don't get out in it too often. It's like it's taboo. But now we're hearing a little different story, like maybe it's good for us. So what do you say, and what does God's word say about it?
Well, sunlight has always been good for us. It's never been bad for us. And so we just need to explain it, right?
Okay.
So from a logical standpoint, God created the sun and the moon and all life on this planet. And I think we can all agree that life would not exist on this planet without the sun. It's
Absolutely.
it's the plant's primary energy source. It's an animal's primary energy source, and it is and should be a human being's primary energy source. It's the best thing we can do to recharge our battery, so to speak. If we believe that energy is important
Hmm.
and there's something internally that's charging our system or charging our batteries, and that is light. 1 John 1:5, one of my favorite scriptures, God is light. And
Yes.
we're made in the image of God. And so here's how you understand the sun from a health perspective. Like biblically, we know it's important, but from a health perspective, the first thing we have to understand is that human beings are designed to absorb light.
Hmm.
Well, what do you mean by that? And how do you know that, Vaughn? Well, if you go get in the sun regularly and consistently, does your skin change? Yes.
Hmm.
Your melanin darkens,
Yes.
the pigmentation darkens by design, which tells me that God intended and designed us to absorb light. So the darker our skin gets, the more sun we can get and the more light we can get. And the darker we are, the more and more and more and more sunlight we absorb. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to work. I've always given the example as if you take two people and one is tan and one is pale, pasty white, which person looks healthier? I believe we all think that people who have some tan and some color to their skin, that looks healthy. I
Yeah.
think in our mind, we could say, oh my gosh, that person, like he's risking sun cancer and, all these things. I posted one time on social media that the sun does not cause skin cancer. And I got absolutely roasted. I mean, the comments were pretty mind-boggling.
Mm.
But besides just the logical argument that God created the sun and the sun is good for us, people have lived in the sun all of human history.
Yeah.
You look in medical literature, you will not find skin cancer. And it's not like medicine is new, right? We have writings from Hippocrates 2,000 years ago. We have books and books and medical documents through for thousands of years of human history. Find any incident or any writing of skin cancer. It didn't exist.
Mm.
And so it's a new disease. So, how do we get a new disease and how do we blame the sun? It comes down to the health of our internal bodies. We've heard this term antioxidants. So
Yes.
if you have high levels of antioxidants, if you have high levels of nutrients from fruits and vegetables, if you're hydrated, the sun is good for you. You'll absorb light. Your skin will get darker. You'll absorb more and more light, and you'll be healthier and healthier and healthier. We've all seen that person on the beach who is like wrinkly and haggard looking and they're their skin looks like it's dropping off their body. And we're like, oh my gosh, that person is sun damaged.
Yes.
The person is not sun damaged. That person is smoking damaged or alcohol damaged or some other toxicity damaged. Because I
Mm.
can equally find you people in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are in the sun and tan and look amazingly healthy. So, in
Mm.
other words, it's not about the sun, it's about our health. Are we healthy enough to absorb light and sunshine the way God intended it to be? Like you don't see animals running around like putting on sunscreen because they're worried about getting sunburned. Now you could say, oh well, they have fur, they have these protective mechanisms. It's like no, they whether it's a lizard or whatever it is, like their skin could be burned by the sun if they're not getting it consistently and regularly. And so I always recommend bioastin, which is Hawaiian astaxanthin, which is a red algae. I've talked about this for videos for years and years and years and years. If people take this consistently every day, they will not burn. They will
Wow.
tan. I would be super your typical white boy, and I would get crispy burnt, and I would, for 3 days, my skin would peel off, and I'd be in pain, and I'd be miserable. And that never happens to me anymore. I mean, like never, never. I've had times where I was in Hawaii with my family and we were in the sun all day, 8 hours, and I just totally didn't even think about it, right? And I look down and I'm red, I'm burnt like a lobster. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Got up the next morning, that burn turned into a tan. I never
Interesting.
peel, I never flake. So again, do you have the internal protection in your body to absorb light and it to be used for good? Or is your body full of chemicals and poisons? And I would put sunscreen at the top of a toxic poison list. We did not have melanoma and skin cancer rampant in our society until sunscreen was invented and came out. Now we have this massive increase in skin cancer. I wonder why. We're putting chemicals on our skin and allowing the sun to bake those chemicals
Yeah.
into our skin. So I would argue that not only is the sun good for us, but sunscreen actually causes the problem you're trying to prevent. This goes back to we believe these lies about the sun. We trust in the things man and doctors and the medical system saying we use these toxic poisons, we put them
Mm.
on our skin, and then we blame the sun for cancer and all the bad things that are happening. And so it's just none of it's true. It's all very misleading. And the reality is we need sun and we need to be in it regularly, consistently, daily, and we should all be tan. And the patients I work with, oftentimes, I'm like, hey, go outside and walk in the sun. But some people, I'm like, I want you tan. I want you laying out in the sun and getting a tan because that's going to help restore your health. So I better stop because like this is one of my soapboxes I can talk about forever.
No, it's so interesting. Okay, so on the flip side of that, if someone, let's say someone is not healthy and they've been smoking for a long time or they're drinking or whatever, and they're
Yes.
just not healthy, should
Right.
they take it in doses? Like what is
Absolutely.
best for them?
Yeah, and everybody should take it in doses. Like if you haven't been in the sun consistently, start with the morning sun, 7 to 11 a.m., or the evening sun, 5 p.m. and later. Build up that quote unquote base tan, right? We've all heard of that. Like, hey, we need to get our base tan going. So, you need to build up into the sun. And the reality is if you're doing things that are causing oxidative damage and oxidative stress to the body, smoking, alcohol, processed food, chemical filled food, junk food, you have to switch to fruits and vegetables,
Mhm.
cleanse and detoxify your body, take lots of antioxidants, get rehydrated, and then you can get in the sun more consistently. And the sun will benefit you because God created it to benefit from us. So, yes, people who are toxic have to be careful.
I love that. I love that explanation. I've never heard anyone explain it. That's it. It just seems simple. It seems like that
Right?
makes sense.
Logic,
And God
logic.
is light. Okay. So we're talking about the sun. I love your explanation of the sun. And I do have a really quick question for you, Dr. Vaughn. as a female, I like to take care of my skin. And, years ago, I would tan, absolutely loved it. As a teenager, I was tan all the time. I mean, I wanted to be tan. I felt good. I would lay up on top of our roof and get tan. But then as an adult, you hear, oh my gosh, don't do that. It's going to cause cancer, just like you said. And then there's the tanning beds, and then there's the artificial sunlight, coming through the window. Um, what is your take on, you said sunscreen, that we should not be wearing it, right? That we should just get the natural sunlight. So how would you, like a dermatologist is saying, okay, you need sunscreen even when you're driving in your car, you need to put your shades on, wear a hat. You hear that all the time.
Yeah, and again, I would just say the opposite is true. And so if our body is light and we're made in the image of God and our cells are light, then light is the most important thing that our body and our cells and our muscles and our tissues need. And so people are worried about damage. And so
Hmm.
let me just make it clear. Like I don't you can be damaged by the sun. The sun can burn you and damage your skin in an extreme way. I do believe that there's a process to this. I think a lot of times people think about like they're worried about getting wrinkles and things like that. It's really just a lot. I keep using the term antioxidants because it really is the most important thing to understand. But if you have lots of wrinkles or you get in the sun and you feel like your skin is wrinkling, it is a lack of antioxidants.
Mm,
So I go back to the smoking example and
yeah.
drinking alcohol to the extreme. Of course, I'm not talking about a glass of wine here and there. The oxidative stress and the oxidative damage that does at the cellular level and how that damages the tissues, it pulls all the antioxidants, all the moisture out of the body, and the result is wrinkles.
Mm,
So if you're hydrated and you eat fruits and vegetables and you put high antioxidant content things in your skin, it doesn't matter if you're 75 years old. Your skin will be healthy enough to absorb the light and to tan, and it's never going to cause cancer or even wrinkles if your body and your tissues and your skin especially is healthy.
mm,
And so tanning beds, red light therapy, all those things are kind of our man-made way to get tan or to get the benefits of the sun. And there are some benefits to those things if
sure.
it's done right. Red light therapy is huge right now.
It is.
But what is red light therapy? When is the sun red? The sun red is at sunrise, and the sun's red at sunset.
Hmm.
And so that healing red light, it turns on mitochondria. There used to be cultures woke up to the sunrise, went
Yes.
to bed at sunset, and they were outside all day and they watched the sunrise. Now you hear about don't look at the sun, you're going to go blind. Well, I mean, even the Bible says do not look on the midday sun.
Hmm.
However, one of my favorite seasons of my life was when I lived in Las Vegas and I watched the sunrise every morning. And I got to the point where I would get up and I would literally lock my eyes on the sun. It was rising for a full hour.
Wow.
My eyes were locked on that sun and I was watching the sunrise. Absolutely one of the healthiest things we could possibly do. So I go back to, I don't care if you're a dermatologist or you're into beauty and cosmetics or whatever it is. This still this massive misunderstanding of the sun being bad for us all goes back to each individual person's health, and not only that, the man-made chemicals and things they're putting in or on their body dramatically affect that.
That's good. Let's talk about vitamin D, the immune system, our health, our mood, benefits from the sun.
Yeah, so it's for your body. So here's the irony of it and kind of the sad thing about it. Like why have we continue to vilify and demonize the sun
True.
that's God's creations. Like even as Christians, we're like, oh, the sun. But the way it works in the body is cholesterol. So we always hear about what do we hear about when we hear about cholesterol? That's bad.
Yes.
That's a problem. That your
Yes.
cholesterol is too high. So what are we giving people? Statin drugs.
Yes.
Statin drugs stop your body from producing cholesterol. What does your body use to synthesize and produce vitamin D in the body? I bet you can guess.
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. So, oh my gosh, like, okay, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Huh. Maybe we're doing pharmaceutical drugs that are damaging the human body and pulling all the cholesterol out of our body. And then we're getting in the sun and we're getting burned and we're getting cancer and we're blaming God's creation. And we're not looking at the man made interventions that
Mm,
are actually causing it.
that's good.
Now, I just did a whole series with another person on the weaponization of nature. And that's what man does, and that's what the devil does, is they take God's creation, they weaponize it against humanity, and then
Yes.
blame God for it.
True.
And that's exactly what's happening with the sun. We're blaming God in creation for something that's caused by man. And so you have to have cholesterol to produce hormones. Vitamin D is actually a hormone. A lot of people don't know that. It's not a vitamin, it's a hormone. And so to synthesize and process all hormones in the human body, you must have cholesterol. We've heard of estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, all synthesized and produced by cholesterol, a nightmare, and one of the worst medications on the planet. And in my opinion, they shouldn't exist. It's one of the biggest deceptions of the medical industry. But the whole topic here is about the sun. So without the cholesterol, you can't synthesize and produce vitamin D. Your vitamin D levels are low. Your cholesterol is low. Now your hormones are low. Now, oh my gosh, avoid the sun because it burns me and it's going to cause cancer. And like we are in this cycle of creating chronic disease and chronic illness by avoiding the most amazing, perfect, beautiful things that God gave us. And again, we're putting the blame on God in creation and we're twisting and manipulating it when the reality is who's to blame is man.
That is so good. I mean, I hadn't thought about it before, but it is true. The enemy just, he twists things, turns things to blame
Mhm.
God. That is so
Absolutely.
good. I have not heard that before explained like that. What about our internal clock? Doesn't it help reset it, the sunlight itself?
Yeah, it does. So here's just an example of it. If people are having trouble sleeping, I really encourage that the best thing you can do is take an evening walk as the sun's going down and try to watch the sun go down because the sun going down and when it gets past the horizon, that's what turns on melatonin and starts that drip into the body. So our sleeping and waking cycles used to be based on the sun. When
Yes.
we lived more primarily outdoors or in small cottages and villages and things like that. And so that's what's supposed to set our circadian rhythm. And when people travel, what I do and what I encourage everybody to do is the best thing you can do when you travel is as soon as you can, get in a park, get barefoot, and ground yourself, connect to the earth, your body will go, oh, now I know where I'm at. Because when you're flying in the air, your body's like so confused. Like, what on earth is going on? Like, God never intended for us to have airplanes and like fly all over the place. Like, we're supposed to live in our community, grow in our community, impact our community. That's what I believe. I don't believe we're necessarily supposed to know all the world news and travel all over the world. And I'm not saying I haven't done some traveling, so I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here. I'm just saying like this is what I believe, right? Was God's original intention. And
Sure.
so if you want to reset your system, watch a sunrise, watch a sunset, get your bare feet on the earth, and then your body will know where it's at and you'll reset that internal clock. And it works.
I love that. Will that help with sleeping? Like if someone has not done that, like in their own yard, they've never done that, gone out barefoot, because we hear, oh, don't go bare. Like as kids, we went barefoot all the time.
Oh, yeah, me too.
The kids don't do that anymore. So
My
should
kids
we do
do.
that? Should we do that now?
Absolutely. Now, let's be smart, right? Like if you have three dogs in your backyard and they're pooping all the time, yeah, don't walk around barefoot out. Like, let's use common sense.
Right.
Like, let's use common sense. I mean, I grew up barefoot. I mean, I was barefoot. I was so barefoot. I got a nail through my foot
Yeah.
because I was barefoot, like walking through the alleys, like to the extreme, right? I have a daughter who's 11, and we call her the Barefoot Queen. My mom, her grandma, actually got her a shirt that says Barefoot Queen because this girl is barefoot all the time, everywhere. And I'm like, that's my girl, yeah. And she will literally go outside in the wintertime and walk around barefoot and it doesn't bother her. She's not like,
Wow.
oh, cold. Like she literally will just go like walk around barefoot outside. So I believe that's normal and natural and how God designed it. And I believe we're supposed to be connected to the earth. And if people want to say we're hippies or whatever, I jokingly say like, that's a compliment to me.
Yeah, Dr. Vaughn, you are so encouraging and enlightening, and I've never heard
Thanks.
someone explain the sun like you did. I had not thought about it because if you think about it in a biblical way, God is light, and we're
Right.
supposed to imitate his light on this earth. We're supposed to absorb light. It all makes sense now. Let's
Yep.
go out in our yard, get barefoot, get grounded, and get some
Yay.
sunlight. Okay, now we're on to coffee. Now, you know there's coffee places all over the place or popping up, kind of like sunglasses. Um, yeah, people love coffee. They
Yes.
believe that it helps them. And you're hearing now, I'm hearing now, yes, 5 cups of coffee, black coffee, not sugar and all that stuff in it. 5 cups of coffee a day is great for your mental health. What do you say about caffeine and coffee?
Uh, there's a book that I read that really opened my eyes. If anyone's interested in reading it, find a book called Buzz. 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 The whole book is the history of why the entire world, I'm talking like changing the shape of cultures. Why is the whole world addicted to caffeine
Yeah.
and or alcohol? The book is called Buzz, and it talks about as a chemical what it does to the brain. And that's what's fascinating about it. So let's just be honest, Teresa. I could talk 30 minutes on the benefits of coffee and why everybody should do it, and it's amazing. I could talk the next 30 minutes on how coffee is detrimental to human health and you really should avoid it if you want to be ultimately healthy. And I'll make a really good argument both ways.
Can
And
we
then
go
you
right
have
in the
to.
middle?
Right, exactly. Can we meet in the middle here?
Yes.
Right? So just like anything, we can do it to excess.
Yes.
And so here's what I want people to understand about caffeine. You drink caffeine and it makes you alert and productive, and it makes you a better employee, or it makes you a better parent, or it makes you get your yard work done, or it makes you a better athlete. Like, who am I to say you shouldn't do that? Right? Like, really, that's not for me to say. And the Bible doesn't say, like, thou shalt not drink caffeine. So I have to be careful with all that, right? Now,
Yes.
at the same time, what people really need to understand is when you're consuming caffeine, especially in excess, you're always creating a net loss
Mm.
in the body. So it's like borrowed energy. So it's temporary energy, but it does nothing to build or strengthen health. So we know this. You can look this up. Anybody can look this up. It depletes potassium from the body. It depletes
Yes.
magnesium from the body. It ultimately would cause dehydration because it's a diuretic. Everybody knows when they drink a bunch of coffee, they pee all the time.
Yes.
So it's a diuretic. It causes mineral and nutrient loss. And what's really fascinating, if you read the book Buzz, there's something called adenosine, Adenosine. Look up adenosine. What adenosine is, it's a chemical in the brain that's released when we're tired.
Mm.
So it's normal for people to get tired. You go work out in the yard for 3 hours. I'm exhausted. I want to lay on the couch. I'm tired. So adenosine is released when we're tired. When you drink caffeine, this is what people don't understand about coffee. Coffee is not a stimulant. It does not stimulate the human body. What it does is it blocks adenosine. So here's the analogy so you understand what it does. If you have a car where you have a gas pedal and a brake pedal, drinking coffee is not pushing on the gas pedal. Drinking coffee is putting a brick behind the brake pedal.
Mm.
And what it does is it allows your body not to be tired. You're not allowed to be tired. We're going to block the adenosine. So what you're doing is your body's really tired. You're blocking it from feeling tired. And so you still have energy and you're still alert and you still function and you still do the things you want to do. But in reality, you'd be tired and you would take a nap or you'd go to bed. So you can see how over the course of time, that's going to create a problem or depletion or weakness in areas of the body like the adrenal glands and the kidneys and the nervous system and things like that. So again, nothing wrong with coffee, especially small amounts in moderation. There's all kinds of tips and tricks, like don't drink it first thing in the morning. Like
Really?
Get hydrated first thing in the morning. Get sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning. Eat something, whether it's a little protein or a smoothie or something. I'm not a big breakfast person, but if you want to have a little protein smoothie or something in the morning, drink your coffee at 10, 11 o'clock. Like the biggest mistake we're doing is starting our morning with that.
Mm-hmm.
We're stimulating ourselves. We're setting ourselves up for a major afternoon crash. So you can balance, put salt in it, put coconut oil in it. There's all kinds of different things you can do to kind of balance out the acidic nature of coffee or the stimulating effect of coffee. So really my suggestion would be do it in moderation if you're going to do it. Don't do it upon waking as the first thing that you do. And I would argue this, matcha green tea is better. It has some caffeine, tons of health benefits, ECGG, and there's all kinds of nutrients that are amazing for the brain and for the memory. And so I would encourage you to find alternative sources like yerba mate, like matcha green tea. And they can have a similar benefit, but not to the extreme that coffee can create imbalances. So hopefully that helps meet in the middle a little bit.
It does. It does.
Okay.
And we're out of time. I mean, we could go on and on and on, and we will next month as well. But as always, Dr. Vaughn, you're a wealth of information. Thank you so much for what you bring to this platform. And I really appreciated you talking about the sun and coffee and our energy. It was awesome. Thank you.
Yay. You're welcome.
And thank you
Thanks.
for listening. I'm Teresa Rowe. Everyone have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Shaped by Faith with Teresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapedbyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shaped by Faith products, and much more.